left nothing more than a motel row. Okay, don't plan on staying here. You can't afford it. It's B&B and motels and exorbitant rents, and it's all good because the mainstream media says it is because property values are high, and that's good for a minority of the people. But they don't tell you that. They don't do anything to educate you that it's a minority of people that have the money. And I know that a lot of people will tell you it's this 0.001% that really have all the wealth, and that's all true. But you understand we're divided pretty equally, okay, between haves and have-nots, and that divide is getting etched in stone. You understand? That's what the people that have the advantage right now they want. They want that etched in stone. These people would be utterly miserable, those kind of people, in a world without any form of money, without any way to get an advantage over others. And if you think that God Almighty is going to contend with this state of affairs indefinitely, forever, in perpetuity, you've got another thing coming. Think again, we're at a point in history. If you read the book of Daniel in chapter 12, it talks about this. Knowledge is greatly increased upon the earth. This is due to the internet. It's getting harder and harder and harder for people to bury their heads in the sand and prescribe to an ignorance is bliss philosophy. That ship has sailed. You can't see it anymore. It's beyond the horizon. It's done. You can't let anybody stay ignorant. Somehow you can reach everybody, friends, family, speak truth to power, and anybody else that'll listen, strangers. I had a great conversation with a stranger I met yesterday, enlightened man, and it was just great. 66-year-old guy, and I gave him a ride, a little handicap. But it was a very pleasant experience. It's a gift from above. But the knowledge is out there, and it's empowering, and we've got to become empowered. You take this UFO issue. They want you confused. They want you stupid, ignorant. You understand? This is what they call, they keep it secret, and they have the what do they call it? The pretense of national security. You understand? But more and more high-ranking military coming out saying, yeah, there's nothing in our inventory that comes close to this stuff. We know it's real. You understand? They would have to come out. The mainstream media have to come. The Bible is true. Holy angels exist, and God's getting really close to meting out justice upon the earth. Do you think the mainstream media wants to come out and tell you that? You think that wouldn't be empowering to the public? That God's will is alas, going to be implemented upon the earth, that the day is very close, the day of reckoning for all of us. And there's going to be a generation that'll never taste death. Their bodies will morph, as the Bible puts it, in the twinkling of an eye, what is referred to as a rapture. You understand? But God's got to separate humanity, just like it's written. It's just the way a landscaper separates the weeds out of the cultivars. The harvest is ripe. People are deciding which side they're on. Do you love God and humanity more than you love money? Well, if you don't, then you're going here. God's going to put you on his own divine polygraph, so there's nobody's going to BS their way out of this thing. Your belief systems are going to be put on trial. And if they don't hold water and you don't even believe your own BS, have you been living by the golden rule in your business affairs? Have you been treating the people you do business with as if they were your own children? God's going to put you on the polygraph, not me. I don't own you. I can't judge you, but there's only two places we can go, up or down. We either inherit the earth, the meek, the righteous will inherit the earth, those that long to live in a world without any form of money, with no men there that want to take advantage of me, have an advantage over me. Okay, that's how it's got to be. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be the way God wants it. Okay, he always wins. He always gets his way because it's the proper way. It's the right way. It's the just way. And it's got to be fair. You understand? This world is woefully unfair. And God knows it has everything to do with money and the advantage it gives those that possess it. It's a false competing God. Do you understand? It's wanton, vast power in this world, the power of the purse strings. Who can say it isn't? And who can say we're not all money lovers because we depend on it for our very existence? It's called the cost to live, the cost of living, right? A tax, a very real tax, okay? That stirs a lot of emotions, fear, loathing, misery. Do you understand? That's what they've done to us. We're shot. We're cooked. We're done. It's over. A simple thing as the Federal Labor Department being in there every year, coming out and saying this is 100% wholly justified, and I'd be totally remiss, the head of the Federal Labor Department, if I didn't do this. We're giving the federal minimum wage workers a commensurate wage increase to the cost of living. What is unfair? Who can say that's radical unfair? If you don't do it, for all intents and purposes, mathematically speaking, they just got a pay decrease. You understand? I mean, please understand the implications of what I'm telling you. This is a plan. This is by clear deliberation. They did this on purpose. They normalized slavery right under our noses. Not overnight, but over half a century. I was just watching the latest Kaiser report, and Max pointed out in 2008, when there was a chance that the banksters were going to be allowed to fall on their collective faces and bust out their metaphorical teeth, what 90+% of the American people wanted, Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, liberals, socialists, and capitalists, all wanted that to happen. But Barack Obama and Joe Biden and Senate and Congress, everybody, now Obama's right, he's the president, he's influential in this matter, so he's going to be instrumental in making sure we bail out the criminals, whom, by the way, deliberately caused the problem, the blowout of the pipes, by dumping too much money on the housing market. They knew that. They knew consistent wages weren't justifying that. How were they going to do it? You understand? It was a scam. Inflation, you understand? They benefit. It goes on their side of the ledger. And how many of these political figures in the Congress and Senate have relatives that they know, well, this one's a mortgage lender, and this one's a real estate agent, and blah, 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 and this one's a landlord, on, and this one's a speculator and a flipper. It's all good, and gentrifying, and these investors. And, so in the back of their mind, even if it's happening on a semi-conscious level, they're evil. They're all in cahoots. And then they act like they're at odds with each other when all they do is debase our money, knowing that it's hurting the people at the bottom rungs of this ladder, making it hopeless for them. So what do you look at historically? You look, bloody revolutions, civil wars are started by this. The French Revolution, Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake. What do you think happens? What do you think is going on in Central America? The same kind of crap. You push too hard, and people say, screw you, man, I'd rather be dead than be enslaved by you monsters. You want me to just get so miserable, so stuck, I can barely freaking breathe here. You're making me go get welfare. And your answer is, well, you see that guy crawling under the bridge? I guess you could join him. I don't know. I certainly wouldn't tell you to commit a crime so you could go to jail and get 3 hots and a cot, free rent, free utilities, free medical, help reintegrating, and at a cost of, I don't know, $50,000 to $100,000 a year per inmate per year for criminals, rapists, and murderers, and carjackers, and everything else. That's okay. But if you just, you want to be docile and passive, and, well, I just can't cut the mustard. I can't crack the nut anymore. I can't reach the bar. I guess I'm weak, so I guess I'm bad. I guess it's immoral, and I deserve to be homeless and crawl under the bridge and just freaking die, lose my will to live, maybe blow my brains out, go out with some dignity, right? That's the unsaid implications, though, inference of all this. It's sick, man. We're in so freaking much trouble. But 08, man, that was the final nail in the coffin of this country. We had one last chance to redeem it and have some checks and balances, some oversight by we the people, accountability. But you understand, I just want to make people very clear what I've seen the light about the Federal Labor Department and how they are deliberately remiss, okay, in giving adequate cost, because that would have acted as a very, very reliable check and balance if they came out every year while the inflation was taking place. And inflation amounts to the debasement of our currency. You understand? The watering down of your money. Taking something that's concentrated and really worth something and just making it worth less and less. And not the workers at the bottom rungs, the federal minimum wage workers. Why did we come up with a federal minimum wage in the first place? To protect the people from unscrupulous employers. So there's nothing, absolutely nothing. Everybody in the world would agree, if they're being honest, that there's no justification, there's no basis in the world to not give federal minimum wage workers a commensurate cost of living adjustment. Okay, this based on the CPA, a mathematical equation calculation. a very certain thing, a very certain figure, to say, you want to play that game? Well, employers, here you go. This is what you get. You got to pay higher wages. Employers could bitch and moan, and that's where the rubber would have met the road. Then we would have had the conversation then and there, and it would have prevented the debasement of our money. You think the Congress and Senate doesn't know that? Where's the head of the Federal Labor Department? Where's the mainstream media? They got all these exposés, 2020, 60 Minutes, all this crap, as if they're trying to educate. Where the hell's the head of the Federal Labor Department? Do some explaining over the last half century. How'd this happen? How'd this happen? You give a little cost. We'll give them cost of living adjustments. Look. This much, well, the cost of living goes up this much, and you know that's absolutely true. It's a scam. It's called normalizing slavery right under our noses. You're thieves, you're liars, and you're murderers. You're killing people. You're making them lose their will to live. You're making their lives hell, misery, fear, and loathing in America, the fallen nation, and the sooner we admit that, the better off we'll be. We're done. We're cooked. We're finished. You got that? Freaking, it just makes me nuts. And you think that God doesn't see this? You understand the pain? I've had to watch this for a long time. Young people might not understand my passion. I was a little boy when JFK was assassinated. I remember it like it was yesterday. He was getting rid of the Federal Reserve. Do you understand? He was already circulating a new dollar in America. He understood sound economic policies. Your money's supposed to do one thing. It's supposed to increase in worth. That's how prosperity grows universally, which is the antithesis of what the evil men at the uppermost echelons of power in this world want. Absolute opposite. Absolute antithesis of what they want. What happens to their slaves? What happens to their advantage? What happens to TMZ fawning over their wealth? Oh, the Kardashians. Oh, they're billions. Oh, and well, they've got every freaking contractor in the greater LA area serving them to build their 100,000 square foot mansions or whatever not. How does that help the poor people? How does that help the low-income housing construction? By putting all that demand. So we got a handful of people that can put all the demand on everything. And every investor and his brother that read Rich Dad's book, oh, I could make money. Everybody's going to get rich as a landlord and an investor in housing, real estate. That's going to work, isn't it? Everybody wants to be a landlord. How's that going to work exactly? I mean, this is insanity. It's totally illogical. It's totally unreasonable. It's totally unjust. It's totally insane. Yet they're telling me to accept it, comply, conform, capitulate. So I don't believe there's going to be another bloody revolution. We're way too far down the line. So I'll go as far as to say I'm a pacifist. I'm a nonviolent guy. Nobody in the world should be threatened by me. But then again, nobody in the world should have felt threatened by Jesus. Did they? Of course they did. Why? He was anti-authoritarian. He was exposing the deeds of the evildoers. He was showing that these people, they're no better than you. They're no more deserving of this than you. This planet is mine, saith the Lord. And what I'm telling you is share it. So at birth, we should be handed our shares. What use would, what, you understand? It would reveal the stupidity of money, the absurdity of using money in any form. You understand? If you were born with your shares in the planet's resources, what's unreasonable about that? What's unreasonable? Tell me one thing that's unreasonable about that reality. And that's a reality I want you to imagine, because that's the one that's coming. So prepare for the world of tomorrow. That's the one that's coming. You got to hunger. You got to long. Okay? You got to pine for a world where there's not any form of money. You got to be in the right line. Hook, line, and sinker, man. You take that polygraph, boom. I hate money. I hate it so much, God. I see what you see, man. I see what it's done to the hearts and minds of men all through the ages and up into this day. And it sickens me. It hurts me so much. It's so foul. And if they want that world, they get stuck all together. All those bullies that are living outside your guideline, your rule, your law, the one and only law that counts. to treat others the way they want to be treated, they're all stuck together down there. All those people that would rather rule in hell than serve in heaven, you're going there. Also, my friends, all I'm saying is make sure you're in the right line. You got one little window of opportunity while the day is light to decide which side you're on. Because there's only two sides we could go to. You're either discarded like the landscaper discards the weeds and you're left to remain to grow and flourish, or you're down there with you know who. Just remember that. Like-minded people like yourself, money lovers, people that love money more than they love human beings.